These are 10 ancient cities, some older than Rome itself, that were swallowed whole by jungle and hidden from the outside world for centuries. And in several cases, we only found them because lasers fired from airplanes burned through the canopy digitally and revealed what no human eye could see. Let's start with the one that refuses to be found easily, even today. Deep in the Sierra Nevada mountains of Colombia, at the end of more than 1,200 stone steps, cutting through near-impenetrable tropical forest, lies Ciudad Perdida, the Lost City. Founded around 800 AD, this city predates Machu Picchu by 6.5 centuries. 169 terraces carved into the mountainside, a network of tiled roads, small circular plazas, all of it built by the Tairona people, and all of it abandoned when the Spanish arrived in the late 1500s. For roughly 400 years, the jungle ate it alive. Then, in the early 1970s, a group of treasure hunters stumbled up the stone steps and found what they called green hell. Gold figures and ceramic urns started appearing on Colombia's black market. One of the looters was murdered at the site. Fights broke out, and eventually, archaeologists caught wind of it. In 1976, a team trekked 5 days through territory that appeared on no maps to reach the city. They found looting holes everywhere, broken pottery littering the forest floor. But 85% of the city was still intact beneath the damage. Here's the thing though, Ciudad Perdida was never actually lost. The descendants of the Tairona, the Wiwa, Kogi, Arhuaco, and Cancuamo peoples, they knew exactly where it was the entire time. They call it Teyuna. They had been visiting the site for centuries. They simply chose to keep its location secret from outsiders. Now, move halfway around the world to Cambodia, where you'll find the most famous hidden city of them all. Angkor Wat, built between 1113 and 1149 AD, it remains the largest religious site on the planet. At its peak, the city of Angkor was home to 750,000 people, the beating heart of the Khmer Empire. Then, in 1431, the kingdom of Ayutthaya sacked it, and the city returned to the jungle. For 400 years, Angkor was lost to everyone except locals. Then, in 1860, a French naturalist named Henri Mouhot, on a zoological expedition of all things, walked into the jungle and found stunning temples hidden among the trees. But here's what's remarkable. We thought we knew Angkor. We didn't. LiDAR surveys beginning in 2012 revealed the imprint of a vast urban landscape hidden under the canopy. By the 13th century, the cityscape covered roughly 1,000 square kilometers. Researchers discovered entire hidden cities nearby, ranging from 900 to 1,400 years old, along with elaborate water systems built hundreds of years before historians believed the technology existed. At its peak around the year 1100, the Khmer regime may have ruled the biggest empire on the planet. Today, Angkor is worth an estimated $2 billion a year to Cambodia. That's nearly 20% of the entire country's economy, all from a city the jungle hid for 4 centuries. South across the Pacific, in the rainforests of Guatemala, sits Tikal. Most of its massive temples were constructed during the 8th century, when it became perhaps the greatest city in the Maya world, home to as many as 100,000 people. Wars and drought caused its abandonment around 950 AD. The jungle took it back for nearly 1,000 years, and here is a detail that still astonishes historians. In 1525, Hernán Cortés and his conquistadors marched directly past Tikal. They never saw it. The temples were concealed by 40-meter-tall silk, cotton, cedar, and mahogany trees. It wasn't until 1848 that a Guatemalan government expedition officially found the ruins. Even now, only about 10% of Tikal has been excavated. The rest is still buried under dense rainforest. Not far from Tikal lies something even older, El Mirador. Settlement here began around 1000 BC, making it among the oldest known Maya sites. At its peak, between 300 BC and 150 BC, it was home to 80,000 people. The Pyramid of La Danta is considered the largest in the world by volume at 2.8 million cubic meters. The city was connected to others by causeways 40 meters wide and up to 5 meters high. Plastered white roads that researchers now consider the world's first highway system. LiDAR surveys of the Mirador Basin exposed 417 interconnected cities, not villages, cities with monumental construction, and the reserve protecting El Mirador has lost nearly half its forests in just the past 10 years, meaning we are losing these sites before we even know they exist. Back in Cambodia, LiDAR revealed another hidden capital, Mahendraparvata, an early seat of the Khmer Empire that preceded Angkor, surveys between 2012 and 2017 uncovered a complex urban network designed in a grid-like pattern, spanning 50 square kilometers, all of it invisible beneath dense forest. In Honduras, there's a city wrapped in legend, La Ciudad Blanca, the White City, sometimes called the City of the Monkey God. Tales of it circulated since at least 1526, when Cortés himself wrote to the King of Spain about a mysterious province that must exceed Mexico in riches. In 2015, an expedition confirmed ancient ruins in the Mosquitia rainforest using lidar, finding plazas, an earthen pyramid, irrigation canals, and an untouched cache of stone offerings. But the jungle exacted its price. Shortly after the discovery, expedition members contracted leishmaniasis, a flesh-eating parasite. As one member described it, your nose falls off, your lips fall off. Archaeologists now believe Mosquitia harbors not one lost city, but many, representing an entire lost civilization. High in the cloud forests of Peru stands Cuelap, a fortress built by the Chachapoyas in the 6th century Odai. The main wall stretches 600 meters long, sometimes reaching heights over 17 meters. The Chachapoyas were called the Warriors of the Clouds for their fierce resistance against the Inca. After the Spanish conquest, the fortress lay forgotten for 3 centuries, until a local judge rediscovered it in 1843. Only 20% has been excavated, and in 2022, a large section of the southern wall collapsed, forcing the site to close for over a year. Now for the discoveries that are rewriting history in real time. In 2024, researchers announced Valeriana, a Maya city hidden under jungle canopy in the Mexican state of Campeche. It was found by a PhD candidate who was literally browsing LiDAR data on the internet. The site contains 6,674 structures, including pyramids resembling those at Chichen Itza, spread across an area 1.5 times the size of Washington, D.C. It was 15 minutes walk from a major road, hidden in plain sight. Also in 2024, the Upano Valley cities in Ecuador were announced. 2,500 years old, deep in the Amazon, with near-perfectly straight roads dug 5 meters deep, intersecting at 90-degree angles. Researchers found evidence of maize agriculture, drainage canals, and even beer production. As archaeologist Steven Rostein put it, they completely modified the valley at a level we've never seen. And in 2023, Ocumtun was discovered in Mexico's Balamcu Ecological Reserve, a Maya city with pyramids nearly 50 feet high, hidden for over 1,000 years on a peninsula of high ground surrounded by wetlands. We're in the middle of a revolution. LiDAR has identified over 110,000 buildings in the central Maya lowlands alone. Population estimates for the ancient Maya have jumped from 5 million to potentially 15 million. As archaeologist Heiko Prumers said, in the next 10 or 20 years, we'll see a lot of these cities, and some even bigger. But there's urgency here. Deforestation is destroying these sites before we find them. As archaeologist Chris Fisher warns, we're running out of time because we're losing the Amazon, and we're going to lose things that we never knew were there. Every one of these cities was built by people who engineered water systems, highway networks, and monumental architecture that rivaled anything in the ancient world. They weren't hidden because they were small. They were hidden because the jungle is that powerful, and we are only now beginning to understand what it's been keeping from us.